today for our information session on Prudential's Financial Summer Veteran Internship Program. Before we get started, we'd just like to show you a quick video on how to take a professional headshot.
So you want to get hired. Your LinkedIn profile looks great. Then you go to upload a photo and it looks bad. Here's some tips to help you take a professional headshot at home that'll be a great first impression, help you stand out amongst the crowd, and ultimately get hired. Now, I'm going to be using this iPhone, but any smartphone camera or regular camera will do. The same basic principles apply. Heck, you can even use an old film camera if you wanted to, but don't expect me to explain how that stuff works. So first up, you want to find a great place to take the photo. Ideally, something a little more interesting than a white wall. But keep it simple and tidy it up a bit. Now let's talk clothes. This isn't an official Department of Defense photo, so you don't have to wear your military uniform. A simple business attire color top is perfect. Try to avoid black and white, as those don't always photograph best. Since this is just a headshot, you don't have to worry about pants. Theoretically, you don't even have to wear them, but I'm going to leave that decision up to you. While you're choosing your best clothes, it's time to start thinking about the rest of your appearance. Brush those pearly whites and style your hair. Don't just roll out of bed and start snapping photos. Make sure you wash your face so it's not oily. And if you want to wear makeup, remember, a little bit can go a long way. Don't go overboard. And hey, as long as you're going through all this trouble, you might as well grab some alternate versions for your Instagram profile too. But don't put those on LinkedIn. Indirect sunlight is always the most flattering option when it comes to lighting. So if you can position yourself near a window, that's the best choice. But don't put the light source right behind you. That'll just turn you into a silhouette, which isn't great, unless your prospective boss is a fan of film noir. Whatever your light source is, you want it to be pointed at your face. If a window isn't an option, use a lamp. Just make sure it's above eye level, because if it's too low, it can look scary. Ideally, you want something between you and the light source to soften it, like a lampshade or a white sheet. If the light is too harsh, that can also look scary. Let's talk about positioning the camera. This is not flattering. You want the camera to be just above eye level. This can be tricky with the phone. If you don't have someone to hold the camera for you, try placing an item underneath it. We recommend using the rear lens because it's a higher quality camera, but that'll mean you might need a couple tries to get the framing just right. Your face is the star here, but remember to include a bit of the upper body to show off your professional outfit. Don't crop too close to the top of your head. Select portrait mode, set the self timer, and position yourself. And here's the most important thing, smile. It's okay if you don't love it on the first try. Do it as many times as you need to. Take a deep breath, relax, just be yourself. Most smartphones have simple editing software that'll help you add the finishing touches to your masterpiece. Just don't go overboard. Start by using the auto setting and make additional adjustments as needed. I'm going to warm up the temperature, do small boosts in contrast, saturation, and sharpening. If you're not comfortable, you don't need to do that. Lastly, you can crop and straighten a photo if your framing wasn't quite perfect, but don't cut too close. Make sure to leave enough room around your head. Looking good, it's ready to upload to your profile. Good luck out there. And remember to head over to resumeengine.org to translate your military experience to civilian skills. And then head over to hiringourheroes.org/events to drive your future and prepare for your next career move.
Hi, I'm Tim DeKreiger, and I'm the program manager for the Corporate Fellowship Program in Atlanta, Georgia. And once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in today for our information session on Prudential's Financial Summer Veteran Internship Program. Interns in the program will receive a unique combination of project-based and role-specific work experience, gain exposure to executives from across the company, and participate in an ongoing series of professional development, community service, and exceptional networking events. With that, I want to introduce Will Williamson, the Director of Veteran Initiatives, who will take it from here. Will?
Thank you so much, Tim. Good morning, everybody. So Will Williamson, Director of Veterans Initiatives. Today I'm joined with my colleagues, and this is such an incredible panel that we're going to have today. I want to introduce my colleagues, Fabi Maciel. She's a talent acquisition specialist within our recruiting department at Prudential. Also joined by two other veterans that work at the firm, two of my other colleagues, which would be Maudud Ahmed. He's an analyst in systems development, and also a good friend and colleague of mine, Kelly Afu, who's also an associate systems development, also a fellow Rutgers alum. So very, very thrilled to be here. You know, Prudential takes great pride in bringing in veterans through our various programs. One of the great programs that we have would be our summer internship program. And it's an exciting opportunity to really come in, learn, grow, showcase your work, and see if you like the firm, and also be able to create maybe even a real potential full-time opportunity for you afterwards. So with that being said, I want to introduce first and foremost Fabi Maciel. She's one of our talent acquisition specialists that's going to go ahead and take it away today. Good morning, Fabi.
Good morning. Thank you, Will. Good morning, everyone. Really excited for this presentation that we have for you today and our panel discussion. If we can go ahead and get that slide started. So that shiny building that you guys see right there is our headquarters in Newark, our Prudential building. We can go on to the next slide. Yes, so I actually specialize in diversity talent recruiting with a focus in global technology. So any questions around technology, definitely excited to share that with you later on. So Prudential is a purpose-driven organization, and our purpose is we make lives better by solving the financial challenges of our ever-changing world. And that's our purpose that ties us together. You know, Prudential is mostly known as a financial organization, but we have so many pieces and components, and our purpose is really what brings us together. So just a few things to know about Prudential. We were ranked number 50 of the Fortune 500 list in 2019. We have over 50,000 employees worldwide. It's a pretty large organization. We were founded in 1875. So we're about a 150-plus-year-old organization, and we're now the second largest life insurer in the United States. So Prudential also conducts business in over 40 different countries. PGIM is our global investment line of business, and they're ranked as the 10th largest asset manager in the world. We manage over $1.4 trillion in assets in that organization. And in 2018, Prudential was ranked among the world's most ethical companies and the country's most sustainable companies. So this is just a breakdown of how Prudential is kind of organized. So we have under the whole Prudential umbrella our financial wellness business. And there we have ISG, our individual solutions group, where we offer annuities products, individual life insurance products, and Prudential Advisors. Those are the products that we are offering to everyday people like you and I. Then we have WSG, which is our workplace solutions group. That's more of a B2B kind of interaction where we offer group insurance and Prudential retirement. Then we also have the Chief Marketing Customer Office and Enabling Solutions. And under that PGIM umbrella, we have a suite of different boutique products that we offer, such as real estate, investment, fixed income, and private capital. And as well as our financial business in the United States, we also offer that internationally. Now, aside from that, we also have our corporate groups that drive the company's success. We have our audit organization, global technology, which I support, financial management, inclusive solutions, global marketing and communications, human resources, and LCBE, which is our law, compliance, business ethics, and external affairs. And here with us today, we have our panel, which we'll be having a nice discussion. And I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce yourself. We can start with Kelly. Feel free to just start with a brief introduction and keep it personal.
Sure. Thank you very much, Fabian. Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Afu. I'm a systems developer here at Prudential, former Air Force Staff Sergeant, aircraft maintenance. And, you know, as proof of our resilience, of course, I'm working in development space, focusing on machine learning. I'm a Rutgers alum for both my undergrad and my master's.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm Modud. I've been with Prudential for a little over a year now. A little bit of background about myself. I served in the U.S. Navy for 4 years on active duty. I was stationed out in Yokosuka, Japan, where I served on USS Shiloh. Most of my time was out at sea, so that was a very unique experience for me. After my service, I came back home and attended Montclair State University right here in Northeast New Jersey, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree. If you want to know more about me or have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll answer them the best I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Masood. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first question. Will, if you want to kick it off. How was your overall transition from the military to the corporate world? And what are some opportunities that you didn't expect?
Sure. So my transition after serving in the Marine Corps into corporate America, I transitioned out the Marines on a Friday and actually went to work on a Monday. So after serving so many years, I wish I would have taken a little bit of time just to really research companies, see what's available for me. I wish I would have gone to school directly. I didn't do that. I actually chose to go into corporate America right away and actually go to school while working. But yeah, there was a lot of things I didn't expect. I really felt like I needed to do a little bit more research about the companies that are available and also to really dive into the company's culture. One of the things I tell a lot of veterans that are transitioning is, as you're looking at various firms, do know that you're also recruiting those firms as well, right? And really take the time to investigate the company's culture and what that culture looks and feels like. And every company has certainly their own culture. You can usually hear a little bit about that in their mission statements. I know there's mechanisms out there like Glassdoor and some of the other ones that you can kind of get a snapshot of the culture. But I really feel like for the purpose of this conversation today, internships are a great opportunity for you to come in and really feel out the company's culture and see what the company is all about. I can attest that here at Prudential, we're really focused on, as Fabi mentioned earlier, solving financial challenges of the world by making people's lives better. And some of our cultural framework things that's really important to our firm is being customer obsessed, creating an environment that's fully inclusive where people can truly bring their true and authentic selves to work, being outcomes driven, which I know that's certainly a mantra from serving in the military, being risk smart, and then, as Kelly and Madud had mentioned earlier, they work in technology. I know Fabi supports technology, also being tech forward. So as I looked at the culture of Prudential, it really matched what my core values were and are, and it just seemed to be a good fit for me. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And Kelly, how about you? How was your transition? What were some challenges and opportunities that you didn't expect coming on?
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the challenges after getting out of or transitioning out of the military, we're trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. I think that's a question that we all encounter at some point, and it can be difficult to answer at times. So that was one of my biggest challenges. But one of my biggest surprises is that I applied to several universities. I got accepted here at Rutgers University in New Jersey. So I ended up moving from home in South Dakota and just driving across the country to New Jersey. So that was an unexpected opportunity, which I'm very grateful for. And overall, it's been a good transition. There's been times where I wasn't sure where I was going, but things worked out somehow. And now I'm working at Prudential, a wonderful company, working in technology, which I love, and just moving forward, trying to learn as much as I can.
Wonderful. I can definitely attest to that. Definitely keeping your options and your horizons open is the first step. Not everyone knows exactly what they want to do coming out the gate. So Madud, love to hear a little bit about your overall transition from the military to the corporate world. What are some challenges and some opportunities that maybe you didn't expect coming along?
Yeah, my transition from the military into the corporate world was an overall positive experience. I had a great support group, both personally and professionally, that helped guide me in my transition. So that was one of the key advantages I personally had that helped enable me to transition back into the civilian life. I actually did the opposite of what Will did. I got out on a Friday, and one day I was in class. Well, it wasn't that fast, but it certainly felt that fast. So one of the challenges I faced was just adjusting to my new role as a college student. I found the curriculum to be very difficult in the beginning, but eventually I was able to catch up with the support of the university, and again, my personal life, and all the resources everyone provided for me, especially veteran students. So that was able to get me through.
Yeah, it's definitely hard juggling both work and school. So I'd love to start off with you, Kelly. Tell us a little bit more about your experience with Prudential and why do you continue to stay?
Yes, of course. You know, my experience with the company is very positive. I have a wonderful team, and we all get along very well. We work together really well as a team, and that's something that I wanted to make sure that I could join after a transition from the military. It was very team oriented, and everybody's focused on that goal, trying to get the mission done. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to join Prudential, and then ended up being in an emerging technology team, which focuses on machine learning solutions to better serve our customers. So we are all very focused on that particular mission that we're trying to accomplish. And that's one of the reasons why I continue to stay. We have wonderful individuals like Wilton and Madood. We see each other in the building, or used to often. So it was one of those situations where you want to be part of something greater than yourself, and you still want to find that need to serve and be focused on the mission. And that's certainly something that Prudential has provided me throughout the couple of years that I've been here.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Will, just love to hear a little bit more on your experience with Prudential and just the key reasons why you continue to stay here.
Yeah, so a little bit earlier I talked about culture. The culture was certainly important to me. And Kelly, you just said something that really resonated, you know, the ability to continue to serve. You know, after transition out of the military, that's one of the things that I did pay attention to in terms of company's culture and what the company was about. And as a former Marine, as a dad, as a husband, you know, as that's the way I see the world, I want to still be able to provide that, and not just only on the weekends or just when I get off work. I want to be able to work for an organization that, where appropriate, of course, I can kind of blend in some of my passions that are outside of work while continuing to do the good work. And just to see how, for example, how Prudential even responded to the coronavirus, even in the work that I manage, the work has been shifted a bit to be able to support people during this global epidemic, and pandemic. So yeah, it's just been a blessing to, you know, this work for a company again with a culture. The mission statement is all about serving others, and how I can still be able to blend in my post-military service into my professional career to be able to satisfy, you know, both of those things for me, personally and professionally.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Madood, anything to share about your experience and why you continue to stay?
Yeah, my experience at Prudential has been a very positive one. I really love what I do. Just a little background on exactly what it is I do. Currently in my role, I manage a software development team that support internal Prudential applications. Basically, we make sure the application is doing what it's supposed to do and applying enhancements for a better user experience. What I enjoy most about my job is I'm challenged with different tasks to work on every day. So there's something new to fix every day, and always keeps me busy and motivated. The reason I choose to stay at Prudential because the company really focuses on their employees' well-being, both professionally and personally. The company is a very veteran-friendly company with a lot of resources available for you to succeed in your career.
Yeah, that kind of leads me into like, you know, what are some of the programs internally at Prudential that, you know, you've been able to take advantage of, you know, such as like the VetNets, the BRGs. Love to hear a little bit more about your experience in taking advantage of some of those programs. Yeah, please. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, you know, tons of programs. I mean, we have, of course, our business resource group, which is called VetNet, which you don't have to be a veteran to join this group, but it's a group of people, right, team members that veterans and non-veterans that come together and we talk about veteran-related issues. We plan a lot of veteran-related programming, and we just have the conversations about, you know, how veterans can better serve not just Prudential, but also in our local community. In addition to that, I think that the mentorship piece has been tremendous for me. My leader, my manager that I report to, Jim Beamister, before he was my boss, he was my mentor. And it was just a great opportunity to have someone else that had served in the military before I did kind of help you, right? And kind of help develop you and kind of help you to navigate through a very complicated organization at times so that you can be successful. You know, and in addition to that, not just those two things that I just mentioned, but the company's always trying to re-engineer themselves to figure out what the future is going to look like. So for example, we have a future of work team that's newly started that is looking at things like called the skills accelerator, where you can actually put your, Kelly, you probably can speak to this better than I because you manage machine learning, but you can actually put your information into a tool and you know, recruiters like Fabi can actually reach out to you and say, hey, look, with your skills, you know, there's been some matching here, and looking at how we can mobilize internal talent so that you don't have to just work in one department. I've been at Prudential 5 years and I'm already in my third role, you know, so you can kind of continue to learn and be that lifelong learner, which to me makes the work a lot refreshing, and the work never gets stale. So yeah, I feel like the tools, the processes, but more importantly, the people really is what drives the organization, and that's what continues to make me want to stay and just take advantage of.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. I use Skills Accelerator often. You know, we definitely look for that internal mobility and internal talent that we can upskill and reskill before looking externally once you're a part of the organization. So that's really a good asset for, you know, us employees of Prudential and opportunities to come. So Kelly, I'd love to hear from you, just like what programs initially at Prudential that you've been able to take advantage of.
You know, Will said it. Skills Accelerator is actually pretty incredible. As an individual that's working in technology, and some of you will eventually work in the technology field, you'll find out really quickly that you need to be constantly studying. You're going to become a lifelong learner. So there's something always new to learn, a new tool, new software, some kind of new cloud capability through AWS or Azure, or even Google Cloud. So Skills Accelerator certainly provides me with some abilities to just keep myself up to date and just learn new things too. Practicing with Python, there's a lot of programs that allows us to go ahead and practice and just upskill ourselves. And you know, that's to me one of the main things that I do like here at Prudential is a company that focuses on maintaining their workforce and their talent up to date. So they have a vested interest in you becoming the best version of yourself, which is something that we as veterans are very familiar with, you know, with all the PT and studying for your exams and trying to become a better you know, manager or supervisor or team lead. So it's certainly a program that I do enjoy, just because it allows me to maintain myself up to date with what's happening in the technology world.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Madhu, love to hear just some of your input on any programs that you've taken advantage of at Prudential.
Yeah, there's so many programs available to Prudentials, and my year being here, I joined several, one being VetNet. Really enjoy being part of that group. Every Veterans Day or Memorial Day, we always have great events. We go out to local VA hospitals and spend some time with veterans. I think that's a very positive program there. Again, things like 401k, pay time off, these are all great benefits that help employees live a better life. and secure their financial future. And the company is always pushing for that. And again, as Will and Kelly mentioned, Skill Accelerator is a new platform. It's a great new site that employees can take advantage of to connect with colleagues around the company, right? The company is really big. We have 30-something thousand plus employees. It's a place where we can connect with all other colleagues. And right now I'm working in global technology, but down the line, if I'm interested in actuarial science or insurance, I can actually use Skill Accelerator to build the skills needed to give me a new position within that field. So I think it's an excellent program.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, there's so many different BRGs that you can get involved in addition to VetNet. Like, you don't have to just stick to one. I know myself, we have the Black Leadership Forum that I'm involved in. We also have Juntos, we have the Women Empowerment, we have ADAPT for those with diverse abilities. So there's so many different organizations that you can kind of find and make your own home. And you can, if you find yourself crossing into different worlds and you'd like to dabble into both, absolutely, the more the merrier. Another program that I thought was wonderful was definitely Who Cares. Just having the opportunity to volunteer on the company's time, being able to get together with your teammates and, make backpacks for like people starting school coming up, or feeding the community. That's just always a gratifying feeling. And just not to forget the purpose of financial wellness. We actually even have financial wellness programs for employees, especially coming in where maybe budgeting wasn't your thing, and you can kind of learn about that and get your own personal financial wellness in line. Absolutely. So definitely tons of programs. We could go on and on talking about them. It's just all about finding what works for you. So Will, I'd love to ask, what advice would you give your college self today? If you'd like to share with some of this, some of the big kids, people we have today.
Sure. I would say first and foremost, really try to, embrace and enjoy the experience. When I was in college, I was just trying to get A's and get it done and take as many classes as I can because, I was working and going to school at the same time. But I would just really say to really try to embrace it and enjoy the experience. If I could do it all over again, I know for the purpose of this panel, but internships are key. It's a really great opportunity for you to come in and showcase your work. When you think about it, many managers at Prudential and other companies, right, we interview people for maybe 1, 2, 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds of interviewing, and then we make a hiring decision on that person, right? Whereas if you can come in for an internship, you have many days and many hours that you can really demonstrate your value to that organization. And it also gives you an opportunity to learn that organization as well. And I'll say last but not least, I don't think I've ever shared this on a panel before, but I'll just share this advice. Really use academia, college, as a platform to really test and make those kinds of mistakes, right? Especially if you're going to work and you're going to school at the same time as I'm doing, because I found myself being in college at night, testing ideas that I wanted to do in the work that I do during the day, having a professor, having my fellow students kind of give me the advice like, okay, that's not going to work, or try this or try that. And then coming to work the very next day and actually implementing some of those ideas with my leadership team and really landing very successfully. So I find college to be a very forgiving platform, for you to kind of learn, test, and grow. And then you can really implement those things in the real world, if you will, post-college.
No, that's great advice. So I can definitely attest to that. I did the work while in college, and testing those ideas out on your peers and on your professors is definitely a plus, because you come back to work and you're like, oh wow, such great, bright ideas.
Exactly.
Yes. Kelly, I'd love to hear, what advice you would give to your college self.
Well, start earlier. Do not wait until your senior year or late in your junior year to start looking for an internship. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So I would have told myself to just start networking, start applying to internships, even if you don't feel comfortable with all the requirements that the internship may be asking for, just do it. We're all veterans. We have a lot of skills that we've developed through our service. And sometimes I feel that we may not take advantage of those. So just make sure you start networking, start applying, and start getting involved. When I was in the university, I was involved with a lot of other veteran groups as well. So there's other individuals out there that have the same questions that you do and are going through the same experiences that you're going through. So it's good to find that group of people that you can kind of bounce ideas off of and learn from.
Yeah, thank you for that. And what advice would you give to your college self?
Yeah, use all the resources available to you. You know, we have a unique experience serving in the military, and coming back to the civilian world, I didn't realize how many opportunities there are to take advantage of resources. At Prudential, at the university I attended. So definitely take advantage of that, do your research, do your due diligence. Again, we had a unique experience. We didn't have a big gap in formal education, and then jumping in, being a freshman at a university can be nerve-wracking and a little bit overwhelming. But with the right support cast and the right resources, you'll be able to get through it. And enjoy the experience. It's college. So, yeah, thank you.
Yep, don't forget to have fun. So before we kind of move on to the rest of the presentation, I definitely wanted to give participants a chance. If you had any questions for the panel, feel free to ask them now. I don't see any in the Q&A. Does anyone have any questions in the chat box maybe?
I don't see any questions either.
Okay, so we can, I guess, move along to the next slide. All right, so here it is, you know, how to rock your digital interview. With a lot of the change that's happening now, there's definitely a move into a lot of digitization, but now it's really imperative to get yourself comfortable with these kind of experiences. So my first tip would be definitely prepare, do your research, research the organization, take a closer look at the job description and the program, and you know, just figure out ahead of time, like what skills and experiences that you feel that you have that align with the job description that you're looking at. When you're doing your digital interview, presence is everything. Professional presence, definitely be clear, be concise. Wear exactly what you would wear to an interview. You know, like the video before and taking that headshot, you definitely want to have that professional appearance. Be sure to, you know, everyone can hear you clearly. Test your headphones, make sure the microphone is working appropriately. The platform that we use is HireVue and CodeView, and it does allow you to kind of test yourself and do a couple of test runs. As awkward and as terrifying as it may seem to record yourself and hear yourself, definitely give yourself a couple of trial runs to see how you can improve and tweak your presence. Setting, try to find a quiet, distraction-free area with good lighting. Try to make sure that your connection is strong and everything is working, you know, to the best of its ability. Set up your technology. Make sure that your device is propped on a steady surface. Check your lighting and your sound. Make sure that you can hear and see yourself. Filming. Try to stay visible. Make sure you're in that head count. As it's recording you to answer those questions, try to look directly into the camera. It's funny because we had a student who put a crop of a picture behind the camera so that he was looking directly at his mentor and kind of giving that face-to-face conversation feel. But it definitely changes the feeling of the interview when you're giving that eye-to-eye connection. And lastly, be yourself. They're already impressed with your resume. They're already impressed with your application. So right now is your time to shine. I recall maybe 5-6 years ago when, digital interviewing first started, and it was my first experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I had my laptop propped on a pillow and it was just floppy. The lighting was terrible. And needless to say, I did not get that job interview. But being a part of forums like this to get these tips and tricks will definitely have you mentally prepared to go in ready for your interview. Next slide. So some of the questions that you can expect and be prepared for to nail this interview are both behavioral and situational questions. Some of the examples that you'll get is give an example of a goal that you've reached, tell me how that you've achieved it, describe the time that you had to overcome a difficult challenge. These are questions that don't necessarily have a right or wrong answer. What the team wants to know is how you would perform in certain situations and really get a better understanding of your problem-solving skills and, just as the question describes, how would you react in certain situations? So some of the best practices is, one, demonstrate your line of reasoning and your thought process. If you don't know the answer, try to if you don't know the exact answer, just state the facts. State what you do know and, what's relevant to you. Obviously the manager, if it's like a technical question, the hiring team is going to know the right answer. So try to share what you do know and give that eagerness and willingness to learn something new and try to show that. Try to use a structured approach to answer each question. And some of the samples to do that is like the STAR answer. Identify the situation, the event, the project, or the challenge that you face. Task your responsibilities and assignments for a situation. Action, take the steps and approach or the procedure that you've taken to relieve or overcome the situation. And lastly, results. The results of the action that you've taken. What was the outcome? How did you get there? Definitely try to share those pieces of the story. And just remembering that storytelling is the most impactful way. And remembering all the pieces to the story when you're collaborating with the team, what were you responsible for, and try to share that story cohesively from the beginning. So here's the formula. It's a practice, practice, practice. Try to identify what those top skills are. And like I said, if you're looking at the job description, the job description gives you all of the answers and the soft skills and the hard skills that they're looking for. So take your skills, take the job description and what they're looking for, and try to put them together and figure out, hey, what are the top 2, 3, 4 that you need to highlight to really nail this interview. Create those responses, use that STAR method to really be able to prepare and kind of rehearse what those responses are going to be. Some other skills to prepare for and speak to, maybe leadership skills, conflict resolution, collaboration, any innovation or innovative ideas that you've brought to the table. Taking initiative and self-learning and being proactive to maybe solve a problem. And definitely practice your responses. Whether you're recording yourself on the phone, you're sending videos to others that you know, close friends or family members to get some feedback. I know it's nerve-wracking, but the ones that are closest to you will definitely tell you the truth and give you some good feedback. Identify where your strengths are and some of the things that you need to work on, and just continue to practice. So your checklist. Making sure, did you highlight your skills? Did you use the STAR method? And did you look at the job description to make sure all of that aligns? Next slide. We can go on to, oh, perfect. Awesome. So the first step is to find your opportunity. We have roles of actuarial, asset management, data and business analytics, enterprise risk management, finance and accounting, internal audit, marketing, operations, project and program management, sales, technology, digital transformation, user experience, and underwriting. You know, and you have an opportunity to submit at least 3 applications for those internship programs. For the technology piece, there's also an additional code view test. So this is going to test like your technical ability. You'll get questions that you'll be able to answer within your own coding language that you're comfortable with, whether it be Java or Python. And the other exciting part about technology is there's definitely a suite of different kinds of roles, from front-end development, full-stack development, .NET development. If you're interested in security, network security, there's definitely lots of opportunities in different ranges through technology. Just love to share, global technology has actually undergone a huge transformation, both from a technology standpoint and modernizing technology, as well as moving into an agile direction. So earlier I showed you guys a slide of where we had all these different pockets in our organization. And before we used to have, you know, groups of technology that would support those different pockets of organization, but we've now become one global technology, the spark of Prudential. So we are all aligned and working together in a more agile environment to best serve our customer, which is really exciting to know. So now to navigate the process, try to know and understand what your goals are. Identify your personal brand. Get your resume ready. Definitely share your resume around with peers, mentors, maybe your professor, and know your stakeholders, know who your audience is. I definitely can attest to my earlier times where I had one really good resume and I was like, okay, I'm gonna send this out to 20, 30 different jobs. Understanding that every job is different and you might need to tailor your resume to really identify what skills that you have that are going to align specifically with that job description. So try to pay close attention to that and personalize your resume for that role. Network effectively. Just by being a part of this webinar series, you're definitely already on the right step. Ask questions, meet people, keep going to these networking events, especially now a lot of them are virtual. Impress on social media. You know, we have some really great tips on getting that perfect headshot. Make sure your LinkedIn looks great. Make sure your LinkedIn aligns with your resume. And really network on LinkedIn. You'd be surprised the connections that you would make, the people that you would have great conversations with, or you can ask questions to. It's all about who you know. Definitely leverage those events. Feel free to ask questions to myself or any of the one gentleman on the panel, Kelly, Will, Madood. That's really how you stand out and get those questions out of the way and really nail that interview. You know, we provided you some tips and tricks to stand out and be your best. So definitely show up as your best self. So some of the experiences that you want to definitely highlight is your academic achievement. You know, being in the military, leadership experience is key. Being able to showcase that is definitely a huge plus. Any interpersonal or collaboration skills are great. Technical skills, matching the role. For those of you who are interested in technology, just understanding what those are and how they fit in alignment with where you're going. Any strong communication skills, obviously that's going to show up in your digital interview. Extracurricular activity or volunteerism, that definitely is a great personal way to connect yourself and really shine for your interview. So definitely go to our Prudential Careers internship website to find your opportunity. Our applications have been open since July 15th. Usually you would meet us on campus to do that in-person interview, but it's going to be completely virtual from that submission to the time that you get to meet the business in your second round interview. Submit your application at the jobs.prudential.com/students. You have 3 applications at most that you can submit. The first part is, when you get to tell us about yourself and give your digital introduction. The second part is when you respond to business-specific questions. And like I said, if you're going for more of a tech role or maybe a database kind of querying kind of role, there's definitely a technical piece that will test your technical aptitude. So complete both of those digital interviews. Next would be your final round interview, which is going to be virtual, where you get to learn more about the business and the culture. You guys were taking notes, we'll definitely mention a lot about the company culture. I would take a deeper dive into that and, what Prudential's culture is and what resonates with you, and being able to speak to those points that you feel like align to you with Prudential. Decision time. So candidates who are best fit for the roles will definitely receive an offer to join us for the 2021 internship program. And if you guys have any other questions about the process or anything like that, definitely feel free to ask. Next slide. So I see a few things in the chat. I'm not sure. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so I see, is location a factor for the internship? So we are headquartered in Newark. So a lot of our internships are in Newark. We do also have some in Connecticut and I believe some international internships as well. So I would definitely keep an eye on the location when you do submit your application. There are different locations. So the applications, so we have a question about what is the timing and process to apply for a summer internship. So the applications have opened July 15th. They are still open now. So you definitely still have time to submit your application. I believe we are kind of moving people through those final round interview process towards the end of September and October. So I would say you definitely have still a couple of weeks to submit your application and potentially be selected.
Well, I have a quick question. So what would be the power of networking after something like this to help out strengthen my application? Is it okay to connect with you online, on LinkedIn possibly? Like how does networking play a role into having a successful application submitted?
Absolutely. So as a recruiter, what I can say is we definitely see hundreds of applicants a day. We're looking at a ton of resumes and profiles. So networking at an event like this, asking really good questions or connecting with, either myself or one of the panelists on LinkedIn really helps your name stand out. And it's somebody that you can always follow up with and say, hey, this was a great webinar. I had a few follow-up questions, and you can ask about the process and getting your application in. And we definitely care. So I would want to know, how that process is going for you. Did you already submit it? And as a recruiter, I would want to follow up and find your name in a pile of, 100, 200, 300 applicants. So that's definitely, one of the points that you can leverage with networking at an event like this is really having your name stand out and being somebody that, you have a close connection with, that you can get some feedback like, hey, I submitted my application. I haven't heard anything, love some feedback. There's definitely a lot of different ways that you can leverage an event like this.
Okay, well, hey guys, thank you so much for your time and your willingness to participate and provide all that information for us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us.